Oh boy, one of those assignments again. This is 0.12, getting to know you. All right, there's a box over here on the side. It says, who are you? This is actually a tougher question than it appears. I suppose if you try to think about it and give a reasonable answer, you'll realize this is not such an easy thing to answer. It's a numbered list. I recommend you fill it in order. And in fact, I'll even suggest a couple add-ons. This is the sort of activity you may want to visit every now and again, even if it doesn't strike you now. Maybe at the end of high school, maybe in the summer before college, maybe during college. It's a good sort of life reassessment tool. It allows you to figure out where you are and where you'd like to be. So I'd recommend you take this extremely seriously, even if only so that you remember it and come back to it someday. I'll leave the video up. Come check it out whenever you want. If you don't take it seriously, I'm not going to know the difference. I'm not particularly grading what you write over there. This is really designed for you, and hopefully it helps you follow that process of goal setting and goal pursuit. So you're going to need some extra paper. So I actually printed myself a little box here. I'm going to go over all the normal questions. You could do it on a paper right next to your work. Who are you? Well, the first thing I would challenge you to list, not even in order, it's just who are you? And who are you as defined by what you spend your time doing. So, what do you spend significant time doing? And this is both in actuality and in desire. So, we'll get to that in a bit, the difference between the two of them. But for myself, this is for Mr. B. You know, I'm of a certain age and lifestyle that my items won't necessarily match yours. So we can have student A, student B. You may be alike or completely unalike. Whatever it is, you're just going to give some examples and you're going to give your real deal. So for me, the simplest things that jump into my head, who am I as defined by what do I spend my time doing? I spend significant time being a father, being a husband, being a teacher. Those are all things I spend a lot of time on. I'm also a coach. I like to think of myself as a runner. I'm also a brother. I'm a son to my parents. You can get the simple things like I'm a, let's see, you may be some sort of home improver. You know, I would not have put this one when I was a student, of course, but things I spend significant time on. Home improvement. I'm a dog and other animal owner, so in a sense, I do animal care. And there are plenty of things. You can go on and on here, of course. You know, I'm a cousin. I'm an uncle. I'm also, let's say, a reader. I'm also someone who's interested in philosophy. Can say I am somewhat religious. There are all sorts of things that you can put in here that, and don't worry about the tense and are you writing it correctly. Just put things in there. Now I'm going to give you a couple other examples over here. Student A may be a daughter. She may be a sister. She may be a gamer. She may be a laxer. Uh, she may be a movie watcher, Netflixer, if that even sounds right. But whatever it is, put the things you actually spend your time on. You may be a chef, even if it's just a home chef. You may be a painter. Then student B may be involved in other things. Student B, maybe he's a football player. Maybe he's a writer. Maybe you're also a gamer. You're into social media. The things you spend your time on, put them in here. Put all these things on here, and on and on and on. And there are many. Force yourself to think about them. This is only step one. Now, step two is kind of a mixed step. You're essentially putting how much time do you spend on these things, and also how much time do you want to spend on these things. So this is kind of like a double rank process. Move this box over a little. For myself, how much time I can estimate. How much time a day do I spend actively being a father? Well, during the week, maybe it's an hour and a half in the morning, and then at night, it's another, let's say 4 hours, whatever it is. Let's say roughly I spend 5 hours a day on this. Put it per day. On average. The weekends, maybe it's more. Some weekdays it's less. If it's school function, whatever it is. 5 hours a day. Maybe a husband. It's similar kind of thing. Maybe those hours I'm really engaging the kids, I'm not quite engaging my wife. But maybe those, it's less in the morning, more in the evening. Maybe it comes out to whatever it is. But we're up later than the kids. Maybe that's also, let's say it's 4 hours. As a teacher, I spend the 7 hours or whatever it is here at school, and then maybe I spend at night or in the morning another hour or two. Maybe it's 8 to 9 hours. Maybe it's 8.5 hours. And coaching with prep time and home time and actual coaching time, maybe it's like 3.5 hours per day. And obviously these things overlap. Very quickly you're going to add up over 24. But runner, on average these days I'm hurt, so I spend 0 hours. As a brother, I have a brother, so I talk to him. On average per day, it's certainly less than an hour because we don't speak every day. So maybe it's only averages out to like 10 minutes. As a son, how often do I speak to my parents? Maybe that only averages out to like 5 minutes. As a home improver, depending on the day, of course, but on an average day, that could be 2 hours. Whatever it is, on and on and on and on. And you may find, maybe I've been spending recently, 0 hours on thinking and 0 hours on reading. So this is like your actual. How much time do you actually spend? And you don't have to be exact, just estimate. And now we get to the best part of all, which is forget about how much time you actually spend. Rank them. Rank them in order of importance. Which of these is most important to you? And you're allowed to have ties. You don't have to choose. Don't worry, I'm making you pick your favorite sibling or your favorite parent or, for me, a favorite kid or any of that. Pick. In order, what do you think? So maybe being like a father and a husband have to be the most important. Then, it's tough to separate these things. Like, how do I choose being a son or a brother over being a coach? But think about how this is really like time desired. Now, I would love to spend a lot of time talking to my brother or talking to my parents, but realistically, I also have to maintain my home. So I can't put them first. Maybe father, husband first, teacher second. Where would coach go in there? I don't know if it would necessarily go third. You have to look at these different things. But as you go through the ranking, you may find that, when I think about it, being a runner, which is part of my physical fitness, I would rank that maybe like 6th, whereas being a home improver, maybe I would rank 8th. And now this is where you have to recognize your actual life patterns. If I rank my own fitness ahead of my home improvements, and why am I spending 2 hours a day on home improving and 0 on my fitness? And so this becomes a very powerful list if you take it seriously. Maybe for student A, we come over here, maybe she ranks being a daughter and a sister, and of course, how can I forget, being a student. And maybe if she's a junior or senior, maybe being a college applicant. You can revise this every time your life changes in any way. So maybe she would rank family Or maybe family up here being around her number 1. Maybe being a student is 2. Lax 3. Maybe the college stuff is getting pretty important 4. Maybe she really likes art 5. Video games are fun 6. But then if you actually look at her hours per day, she spends essentially maybe 30 minutes per day actively interacting with her parents, and maybe 15 just one-on-one with her sister, and she ends up spending, because she's been stressed lately, maybe she's spending 2.5 hours per day on games, and another 2.5 hours per day on lax. Been spending, though college applicant ranks ahead of gamer, maybe she's been spending on average right now 0 per day. And student, how much are you spending? Well, you got your school day, and then you also have your home time. Maybe it's only the school day. Maybe it's got 6 hours, whatever it is. And life's busy. Painting has been getting 0. But Netflix, which really, where do you rank yourself as a Netflixer? Probably in the list of goals, it falls pretty low. Yet, if you realistically look at your usage, oh, maybe you got Netflix running either actively or in the background. Maybe you got that going 3 hours a night. Maybe the past week's been. And so you look at this and say, wait a minute. I see my family is very important to me. And being a student is very important. And getting ready for college is important. And lacrosse is important. Yet, look at how much time I'm spending on Netflix. How much time I'm spending on video games. You maybe in the summer when maybe student isn't so important to me. Or lax isn't so important to me. Whatever it is. Or college applicant maybe that's not so important to me. It makes more sense that the gaming time go up and the Netflix time go up. But right now, that may not be a good plan. And so really, this is a fantastic self-assessment tool. So here's what I'd like you to do. Can't give you too much because it's all about you. Who are you as defined by what do you spend significant time doing? You are actually going to hand this in. And the reason you're going to hand this in is not because I'm going to judge your choices. The reason you're going to hand this in is I'm going to give you a response as to, did you take this seriously? And that's a powerful tool. If you can look at these and actually try to come up with, who am I? Your list can be 50 things long. It doesn't matter. In fact, realistically, it's probably 100 things long. All the things you spend your time doing. Heck, things that are important to me that I haven't even listed here. I'm a neighbor. And to me, that's exceedingly important. I have neighbors, and relationships with your neighbors can change your life. I have a neighbor who's sick right now. To make time to go visit him in the hospital. So, being a neighbor is important to me. You might find it important to be politically involved / voter. If that's important to you, well then heck, when things come around, don't do nothing. Get politically involved. Whatever it is. Maybe you're a music lover, an audiophile. Well, if you love music and you're spending 0 hours per day listening to music, there's a hole somewhere inside of you that's not being filled. So break it down. Find all these different things that you're into. Think about them. List them out. Then try to rank them. And the ranks will change from this to next week, from this to next year. The hours will change. All of these things will adjust. But whenever you need to reassess your life, this is a great move right here. Who are you as defined by what you do? And then rank them out. Is what you're actually doing matching what you want to be doing? And if not, that's what we call the basis of change. All right.